Hello and welcome back to Pass the Turn. This is another Magic the Gathering episode, and today we're going to be looking at one of my favourite commanders here on the channel, and that is Arixmethes the Slumbering Isle. Before we go into it, if you could be so kind and hit that like and subscribe button, that would really help us. And if you're a fan of any sort of Magic the Gathering tabletop content, make sure you hit that little bell notification icon to be notified of any more future videos coming forward. And again, if you're a geek like me and you like buying all this sort of product, accessories for your games room, board games, Magic Gathering cards, accessories, all of that is available on magicmadhouse.co.uk. Use our affiliate link in the description box below and you'll help support us directly if you purchase through that avenue. So please go and check that out if you're looking to buy anything. It really does help support us. So let's get straight to it. Arixmethes the Slumbering Isle is a massive legendary creature Kraken. He costs Simic and 2, so 4 converted mana cost in total, and he's 12/12 legendary Kraken. So he enters the battlefield tapped with 5 slumber counters on him. So he's a big beastie that's just waiting to be awoken by casting spells. So whenever you cast a spell, you remove a slumber counter from him, and when his last slumber counter is removed, he becomes a 12/12 legendary Kraken creature that can swing in for massive commander damage. But that's not the best thing about Arixmethes. Arixmethes, while he's a land, so he comes in tapped as a land with those counters on him. While he's a land, he can tap to add green-blue to your mana pool. So he is guaranteed ramp in the command zone, and that's why he fuels this deck so well. Not only is he part of the tribe that you can expect to see later, but having a big commander creature that will always guarantee you ramp in the command zone is irreplaceable in this deck, and it is absolutely fantastic for that very reason. So again, an awesome commander, definitely not utilised enough. So we're going to go through this in stages. We're going to go through the ramp part of the deck first, and Arixmethes the commander can always be included in that ramp section because he comes in on turn 4 tapped, but then on turn 5 he allows you to tap for 2, effectively putting you onto turn 7, which is absolutely fantastic. So Arixmethes is at the top of that ramp category. So first of all, we've got the artifacts of the deck which ramp, and we've got Soul Ring, of course. 1-drop artifact, adds 2 colours to your mana pool. This is definitely included in most commander decks. Then we have a Simic Signet. So again, a great card for fixing your mana. Costs 2 to bring out. Pump 1 mana into it. It gives you green and blue, which is your deck colours. Then we have what I call the untapped target land or untapped target permanent section, and that is starting with Voyaging Satyr. So he can untap target land. So if Arixmethes is a land, you can untap Arixmethes once with this guy, which is fantastic because you can get 4 mana out of 1 untap. So Arixmethes is there, you can tap him to add green blue, then you can tap the Voyaging Satyr to untap Arixmethes, then tap him again to add 4 mana in total to your mana pool, which is absolutely fantastic and a great way of ramping in the deck, untapping your lands. And in a similar fashion, Ikoria's Follower does this as well, and this is untap another target permanent. So now we have the what I like to call growth spiral effects, and we'll start with growth spiral itself. And this is a green-blue card, and it allows you to draw a card, first of all, then you may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. So again, it's card draw and ramp in a sense. Card draw if you don't have the lands, or ramp if you do have the lands. So again, it's a fantastic 2-turn play, because it allows you to get more lands onto the battlefield quickly and draw cards as well. So again, it replaces itself and allows you to ramp as well, which is fantastic. Then we have something similar in Calling Oracle, exactly the same mana cost. When it comes into play, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land, put it into play, otherwise it goes into your hand. So again, it's like a reverse growth spiral on a body, which is great. And then we have the ramped up version of that, Urban Evolution. So this costs 5. This is tap, draw, well not tap, draw 3 cards, and you can play an additional land this turn. So again, like a ramped up version of growth spiral, Urban Evolution. Then we have the ramp spells. So we have the Kodama's Reach, we have the Cultivate, we have the Explosive Vegetation, and the Farseek, and the Secura Tribe Elder, which will all give you search your library for lands and put them onto the battlefield tapped or into your hand, sort of effect. So again, a fantastic little ramp package there for just getting the lands into your hand and onto the battlefield tapped. Then we have a creature called Goreclaw, Terror of Calcisma. This is a legendary creature bear, and it says creatures you control with power 4 or greater cost 2 less. So every creature in this deck pretty much has a power of 4 or more. So effectively, it reduces the cost of all my creatures by 2 while it's out, and it also has an awesome attack trigger as well. So whenever this attacks, each creature you control, power 4 or greater, which is everything, gains +1/+1 and trample instead of turn. So again, a anthem and pump effect when attacking is a fantastic thing to give my big beefy creatures +1/+1 and trample. So again, a fantastic card for ramping, and also has a late game effect as well. Gall Claw. Then we have a nice utility card. This has always got me so much value throughout the game, and that is Bounty of the Luxor. So this is an enchantment, so it costs 4 to bring out. On your first turn, it doesn't do anything because it only activates at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase. So you won't be able to get the beginning of your pre-combat main phase before you play this. So you won't get the ability on the first turn, but it's a great return of investment because it doesn't normally get targeted by removal. So at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, this will be on after the turn you've played it, remove all flood counters from Bounty of the Luxor. It won't start with any flood counters. If no counters are removed this way, put a flood counter on it and draw a card. So the first time you activate this, you will draw a card. Then, otherwise, add green, blue, and 1 to your mana pool. So on the second turn, you remove that counter and get 3 mana. On the third turn, you put the counter back on and draw a card. On the fourth turn, you take the counter off and add 3 to your mana pool. So again, it gives you a card and ramp every other turn. So again, a fantastic card that just fuels the deck, and it's normally left alone because it gets you a lot of value, doesn't really fuss the other players, so it just stays there and accumulates a lot of value over the game. So it's a great return of investment most of the time. And then we have the Planeswalkers of the deck, and these are in the ramp category because I use their abilities the most for ramp purposes. So first of all, we have Ikoria, the Behemoth Beckoner. So she costs 3 to bring out. It can either be a green or a blue and 2 others. Comes in with 7 loyalty. Legendary Planeswalker Ikoria. Nice War the Spark promo. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you draw a card. So again, a fantastic enchantment sort of esque ability which allows you to draw cards when creatures with power enter. But what I use her for the most is this untap target permanent ability. So again, like Voyaging Satyr, like Ikoria's follower, she can untap another target permanent, which most of the time is going to be Arixmethes to generate 4 mana from that untap. So again, ramping us out into extreme amounts of mana is what I use this Planeswalker for, and the rest of the Planeswalkers in a deck. Next Planeswalker is Ikoria, the Crashing Wave. So this is again a 4-drop Planeswalker, legendary creature Ikoria. Legendary Planeswalker Ikoria comes in with 2 loyalty, so not great. So she has a +1 until your next turn, prevent all damage that will be dealt to and dealt by permanent and opponent controls. So again, she can protect herself, which is what all good Planeswalkers need, is a bit of protection for themselves. So again, she can identify a threat that is not going to be dealing her any damage. But normally what I use her for most of the time is the -1. So draw a card, you may play an additional land this turn. That's what I normally use her for, and that's why she's in the ramp category. And then of course she has the ultimate. You get an emblem with at the beginning of your end step, put a 9/9 blue Kraken creature token onto the battlefield. So again, that's a fantastic late game effect. If you can get to it, you're going to be getting 9/9 Krakens every turn. But I haven't really used it that much. It's mainly for the draw a card, play additional land. So it's like a growth spiral on a Planeswalker. And then we have, again, Ikoria. All the Planeswalkers are Ikoria, Master of the Depths. And this is a 4-cost Planeswalker again, comes in with 4 loyalty, and the +1 is you may untap 1 target creature and up to 1 target land. So the ideal scenario is to have Arixmethes as a land and Voyaging Satyr as a creature, or Ikoria's follower, because this allows me to untap a land and a creature. So I could tap Arixmethes with green and blue, untap him with the Ikoria's follower or Voyaging Satyr, tap him again for another green blue, then activate this to untap Arixmethes and untap the other creature, tap Arixmethes, untap Arixmethes with the Ikoria's follower or Satyr, and then tap him again. So I could literally generate 8 mana off of this one single +1 ability, and that is absolutely outrageous. So again, a fantastic card for that. And then it also has ways of getting creatures into your hand. So -2, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a creature card and or land card from among them into your hand, put the rest into your graveyard. So again, late game, you can be used to filter out creatures that you need to get, or big creatures that you need to get. And then obviously the -8 is you get another emblem. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may have it fight another target creature, and then you put 3 8/8 blue octopus tokens onto the battlefield. So again, a fantastic way of getting removal out of green and blue, because all your creatures are going to be able to fight stuff when they come in, and they're going to be extremely difficult to combat because they're huge Krakens, Leviathans and Octopuses. So again, mainly used for the ramp side of the ability, but again, all Planeswalkers are great as and when they build up in their loyalty counters. So that was the ramp section of the deck. Again, there's a lot of utility cards in there as well, which do other things, but again, mainly the cards are used to ramp me out senseless. And the next card section is card draw, and we'll start with Rishkar's Expertise. So just a big sorcery, costs 6, 2 green and 4 others. Draw cards equal to the power, greatest power among creatures you control. So if Arixmethes is out, I draw 12 cards of this, which is fantastic. And then you may cast a card with converted mana cost 5 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. So basically, this card will draw you into loads of answers if you need it, and then you can literally cash in this card for another card of converted mana cost 5 or less. So again, it sort of pays for itself, and that's why I like Rishkar's Expertise. A great card for any green deck that's running big creatures for card draw. Then we have Bedent of Thassa. This is a legendary enchantment artifact, costs 2 blue and 2 others. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. So again, incentivizing combat, swinging in with big creatures, hopefully getting to draw some cards off of it. And then we have a little activate ability here as well, which can change a game as well. Creatures your opponents control attack this turn if able. So if they've got loads of weenie creatures, you can make those weenie creatures attack your massive Leviathans, just get eaten up. So again, another way of controlling the board to your benefit, and leaving opponents tapped out as well, which is great. And you can activate this on other people's turns, so it's a fantastic way of incentivizing people to attack. So it's really, really good. Nice little spell, Index, great card for any situation, because it allows you to look at the top 5 cards of your library and understand what your next draws are going to be and how that can interact with the table. So again, it can be played on turn 1, can be played on turn 8, both with the same effectiveness, because you need to know what is coming up. It gives you that insight to understand what is coming up next and how you can deal with the threats on the board that are present at the moment. So again, a fantastic card, a 1-drop card as well, so it's great on the first turn just to organise what you need to do to get into the game. Then we have Thassa, God of the Sea, 3-drop legendary enchantment creature god, 5/5 indestructible, and as long as your devotion to blue is less than 5, it isn't a creature. So it will just stay there until your devotion to blue is more than 5, then or 5 or more, then it will become a creature with indestructible. But the great thing about Thassa is that every turn you're going to scry one. So scry I like to count as card draw, because it's filtering what cards you want and what cards you don't want. So you scry one, if it's a land you're like, nah, don't want that, and then you draw a card. Oh, okay, not bad. So again, scry is great because it allows you to, it gives you insight, and I count insight as card draw. It's just filtering the cards that you want, the cards you don't want. And again, another good thing about Thassa is that target creature you control can't be blocked this turn if you pay 1 blue and 1 other. So again, that is extremely relevant with Arixmethes as the commander, because Arixmethes is a 12/12 Kraken with commander damage. So if you can get this through, it is 2 shots and that person is dead to commander damage. So again, a very, very relevant ability on her as well. More card draw in Tatiova the Benthic Druid, a Murthoak Druid, costs 5 to bring out. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, I gain 1 life and draw a card. So again, fantastic way of gaining some life back and getting loads and loads of cards from all those lands you're going to be playing. Even better if you growth spiraling or playing additional lands from the ramp package aforementioned earlier. But again, just a great value card in any Simic deck. Then we have Elemental Bond, which is a 3-drop enchantment. Whenever a creature with power 3 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. All my creatures are pretty much, apart from the ramp dorks, are 3 or more. So I'm going to be gaining cards of every single creature I play when this is out. Fantastic. And then we have something similar in Colossal Majesty, another 3-drop enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card, which I most of the time will do. So this will pseudo allow me to draw 2 cards a turn most of the time. So that was a card draw package. Other things will allow me to draw cards as well, but we'll get into those as and when they come up. The next part of the deck is just utility cards, really. And we'll start with one of the infinite combos, and that is Freed from the Real. So Freed from the Real costs 3 mana, 1 blue and 2 others, and it's an enchantment aura. Enchants a creature, so this will enchant Arixmethes when Arixmethes is a creature to generate unlimited green mana. So what you do is when this is enchanted, Arixmethes can tap for green and blue, and then you can use that blue that you generated to pump into this to untap enchanted creature. So he untaps himself. He can tap himself endless amounts of time to generate endless green mana, and you can use that green mana for big spells, which we can get to later. But again, a fantastic card for infinite combo, infinite mana, free from the real. And it can untap enchanted creatures as well, so it's pseudo-vigilance in a way. Then we have Fog, just an out-and-out great deterrent for any sort of massive battle coming your way. You can just fog it out the game, and it's always good to have this sort of effect in your deck, just waiting for the right moment to play it to save your life. And again, these cards are irreplaceable in the deck because there's going to be times when you just need that extra turn of no more combat damage, and this can save your life. So again, 1 green mana for save your life. I'm happy to have that in there. And similar to that is Heroic Intervention. 1 green and 1 other. This protects all of your permanents. So permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until the end of turn. So again, it prevents board wipes, it prevents single target removal, it prevents things being destroyed. It's absolutely fantastic. It should be used in every green deck that cares about your permanents being out on the field, whether they're creatures, lands, or the like. So again, fantastic card, and that is Heroic Intervention. Then we have Aether Spouts, another combat deterrent. For each attacking creature, its owner puts it on top or bottom of his or her library. So again, this is fantastic for a massive army swinging not only at you, but at your opponents as well. You can play this at instant speed. So if one of your opponents is attacking you, you can return all those creatures onto the top of their library, which is really, really annoying because that also stalls their draws for later if they're attacking with loads. Tokens will just dissipate, obviously, but you can also use this when one of your opponents is attacking one of your other opponents. For each attacking creature, you can still put them on top of their library. So again, you can save the opponent that you want to get on your side, but also annoy and stall the other opponent that you're afraid of. So again, a fantastic way of dealing with that sort of stuff as well, and a good political tool as well in a sense. That's Aether Spouts. And then we have Archetype of Imagination, which is a 6-drop enchantment creature human wizard, 3/2. Creatures you control have flying, and then creatures your opponents control lose flying and can't have or gain flying. So again, an amazing way of giving all your creatures unblockable and evasion. There's a couple of utility cards in there that do different things. Wasn't really a category to fit them into anything else, so I just thought I'd put the utility cards in there. And now we have the protection package. So this is protecting creatures or your commanders when they're creatures from single target removal. So the first thing is Whisper Silk Cloak. So this is a 3-drop artifact equipment. The equipped creature can't be blocked and has Shroud. So again, if this is on Arixmethes is going to be swinging in for 2-shot commander damage, and he can't be targeted by spells or abilities either. So again, a fantastic way of protecting him and giving him basically a win con in Whisper Silk Cloak. Next we have Lightning Greaves, which is a fantastic staple in any commander deck. 2-drop artifact. Equipped creature has haste and shroud, costs 0 to equip. So again, a fantastic way of protecting your commander and giving him the hasty abilities as well. Then we have Neurok Stealth Suit. Again, another shroud equipment, costs 2. Equipped creature can't be the target of spells or abilities, equip cost of 1, but it can be moved to any other creature you control at instant speed if you pay 2 blue. So again, a fantastic way of not only protecting the commander or the creature that it's attached to, but if you have the mana, equipping it at instant speed to protect something else from single target removal as well, which is a fantastic way of protecting your stuff. Neuro Stealth Suit. And then we have another protection card in Pemin's Aura, but this also does loads of other things as well. So first of all, you can pay 1 blue to untap target creature, so it gives us another infinite combo for green mana in Arixmethes, as explained earlier. It can also give the enchanted creature flying until end of turn by paying 1 blue, which is great, gives them evasion. It can also give the enchanted creature Shroud until end of turn for paying 1 blue, which is also great because it can protect against single target removal. And for 1 colourless mana of any type, enchanted creature can get +1, -1, or -1, +1 until end of turn. So it can give them a massive defensive buff or a massive attacking buff, which is great for, especially if they're unblockable, swinging in for huge damage, which is always good. Pemin's Aura. So that was the protection package. Now we're going on to the interaction sort of package. And first of all, this starts off with a counter spell, Plasm Capture. So for Simic, green, blue, you can counter target spell. And at the beginning of your next pre-combat main phase, add X mana in any combination of colours to your mana pool, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. So if you countered a Emrakul, for instance, you're going to be getting a load of mana for that, and not only are you interacting with people's boards and preventing them from playing things that are going to be threatening you, but you also convert that converted mana cost to help you on your next turn, which is a great card. Plasm Capture, great counter spell. Speaking of which, we have just the classic counter spell from Ice Age, blue, counter target spell. Another great thing for just protecting and diffusing horrible plays that are coming up. So counter spell, fantastic card. Then we have another counter spell, Rewind, costs 4, 2 blue and 2 others. Counter target spell, untap up to 4 lands. So you basically play it for free. So again, fantastic card. Then we have Negate, another counter spell, counter target non-creature spell for 2 mana. 1 blue and 1 others. Non-creatures, there's going to be a lot of horrible non-creature spells out there. So again, we're not really fussed about creatures being out because a lot of our creatures are going to be bigger most of the time. So again, this counters pretty much any other spell that's going to harm us for 2 mana, which is fantastic. And then we have Beast Within, which is a destroy target permanent. Its controller puts a 3/3 green beast creature token onto the battlefield. So again, a fantastic card for instantly dealing with a threat and of any nature. Enchantment, creature, artifact, land, destroy target permanent is always useful in any deck. Beast Within. So a couple of interaction cards there as well, which will screw up your opponent's strategies and interact with them directly. Not many in there, but enough that will allow us to screw up people's plans and protect ourselves against threats as well. Next we have the board wipe category. So this is any effects that will clear the board of different things. So first of all, we have Flood of Tears. So this is a 6-drop. So it costs 2 blue and 4 others. Return all non-land permanents to their owner's hands. So all non-land permanents go to their owner's hands. If you return 4 or more non-token permanents you control this way, you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. So again, it sort of pays for itself. It wipes the board of all non-land permanents, and then if 4 of your things were removed this way, you get to play a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield, which is absolutely fantastic. So Flood of Tears, a great board wipe in blue. Then we have something similar in Devastation Tide. This costs 5 mana, 2 blue and 3 others. Return all non-land permanents to their owner's hands, and it also has a miracle cost. So if you draw, if it's the first card you drew this turn, you may also cast it for its miracle cost. Although I've never done that, I've just used it for its return all non-land permanents. Devastation Tide. Then we have Engulf the Shore. This is a 4-cost board wipe, 1 blue and 3 others, instant as well. Return to their owner's hands all creatures with toughness less than or equal to the number of islands you control. Most of the lands in this deck are islands, so again, it's going to be returning a lot of different things back to their owner's hands. And a lot of the time, because my creatures are massive toughness, sometimes it doesn't target those as well, because it's obviously down to the creatures with toughness less than or equal to the number of islands I control. So a lot of my creatures have big toughness, so sometimes it doesn't even hit my creatures, which is fantastic. So Engulf the Shore definitely included in the island-based deck. Sea creatures. And then we have another one-sided board wipe, Whelming Wave. Return all creatures to their owner's hands except for Krakens, Leviathans, Octopuses and Serpents. So again, pretty much all creatures in this deck, bar the mana dorks, are Krakens, Leviathans, Octopuses or Serpents. So again, you're going to be seeing that this is going to be wiping everyone else's board but not mine, which is great in any sort of tribal deck that features Krakens, Leviathans, Octopuses or Serpents. Another great card, Crush of Tentacles. So this is a 6-drop board wipe. Return a non-land permanent to your owner's hands. If the Surge cost was paid instead, you get an 8/8 blue octopus onto the battlefield. So Surge is, you can cast a card for its Surge cost if you've cast another spell before it that turn. So again, another great card for returning all permanents to your owner's hands, and you can get another creature out of it as well if you pay the Surge cost. The next card is actually a creature, Kedrex Leviathan. 5/5 creature Leviathan costs 8. When it comes into play, return all other non-land permanents to their owner's hands. So again, this will stay out, but it will wash away all the other permanents. And you can also unearth it as well. So again, it will come into play from the graveyard. It gains haste. it will wipe everything, it can attack someone for some 5 damage, and then it exiles itself at the end. So again, 2 board wipes on 1 card there, and it's a creature, which is fantastic. Kedrek Leviathan. And then finally we have Slinvoda, the Rising Deep. This is an 8/8 legendary creature Leviathan, costs 8 to bring out, but if you pay the kicker cost of 1 blue and 1 other, when it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return all creatures to their owner's hands except for merfolk, krakens, leviathans, octopuses and serpents, which is basically my entire deck. So again, a one-sided board wipe, and it comes with a 8/8 body as well. What more can you want? Slinvoda, the Rising Deep. So that was pretty much the bulk of the deck. Now we're going to be going on to big creatures and big spells. So the big creatures in the deck are as follows. There's quite a few of them. Quite a few big creatures. So this is the meat of the deck now we're getting into, because a lot of these creatures will be able to be played turn 5, turn 4, because of the ramp that's going on my side of the field. So first of all, we have Nezahal, the Primal Tide. This is a 7-drop legendary creature, Elder Dinosaur, 7/7, cannot be countered. You have no maximum hand size. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, you draw a card. Then you can discard 3 cards to exile him and return him to the battlefield tapped at the end step. So again, he has built-in protection, built-in card draw, gives you no maximum hand size, he can't be countered. It's just a massive creature with loads of awesome abilities on him that will give you a massive card draw, allow you to retain those cards in your hand because you have no maximum hand size. He can bounce himself in and out to protect himself against removal, and again, it's just a fantastic big creature that's on theme with being underwater, which is great. Then we have Tromo Cratis, legendary creature Kraken, costs 7, he's an 8/8, and he has hexproof unless it's attacking or blocking. So if you're attacking with it or blocking with it, the hexproof is not there. If he's just standing around doing nothing, he's got hexproof because he's doing this dance like this. Another great thing as well is he can't be blocked unless all creatures defending player controls blocks it. So he's unblockable unless they have to assign their entire field to block it, which is great because if there's certain creatures you want to remove, you have to force that block. Otherwise, 8 damage is going through to the face. So again, it's a great card as well for potentially removing threats. So Tromo Cratis is fantastic. Absolutely love it. Next card is Shipbreaker Kraken, a 6/6 creature Kraken from Theros, costs 6 to bring out. So in the interim, he's just a 6/6 Kraken, but he has Monstrosity 4 on him as well, and that's when his triggered ability happens. So you can pump 8 mana into him to give him Monstrosity 4, which makes him a 10/10 Kraken instead. And when he becomes monstrous, tap up to 4 target creatures, and those creatures don't untap during their controller's untap steps for as long as you control Shipbreaker Kraken. So again, you can permanently ice 4 creatures, and they do not untap until this guy dies. So again, a fantastic deterrent for those big other creatures out there that are causing threats. So again, a fantastic creature, Shipbreaker Kraken. One of my favourite cards in the deck, Lothros, the Tide Maker. I tried to make a commander deck just based on this guy, but it didn't really work that well. But a fantastic card if you get to use him. He's already slipping out of my hands already, look, bless him. An 8/8 legendary octopus that costs 8 to bring out, and whenever he attacks, you may pay 8 mana. If you do, tap up to 8 target permanents. Those permanents don't untap during the next untap step. So again, this can take someone out of the game if they can't deal with it. If I swing in and tap 8 of your permanents, 8 of your lands, you can do nothing on your next turn, unless we're on turn 9 or 10, which in that case, you can play a 1 or 2 drop spell. It's absolutely outrageous. If this is not dealt with, it is absolutely stupid as to how much damage it can do. So a massive threat in the deck, and I hope that with Ikoria we see more big octopuses, because there's not enough octopuses in the game that are good. Then we have Stormtide Leviathan. It's a 8-drop Leviathan, costs 3 blue and 5. Creature Leviathan, 8/8 Island Walk, and then it turns all lands into islands. So all lands are islands in addition to their other types. So this becomes unblockable because all lands are islands. And then creatures without flying or island walk cannot attack. So everything without flying or island walk just becomes a defender, basically, because they're in the sea, they've been flooded. And there are times that you don't want to play Untitled Leviathan because it means that your own creatures can't attack. But again, it's just a way of messing with the board and just having a big 8/8 creature out there. So again, great card. Storm Surge Kraken is a fantastic card. It's a 5-drop Kraken for 5/5 hexproof. And as long as you control your commander, which most of the time I will do because he'll be a land, he will become a 7/7, and whenever he becomes blocked, you can draw 2 cards. So again, it fits into that card draw category as well, as long as I control my commander. But most of the time, this card reads 7/7 hexproof. Whenever he becomes blocked, draw 2 cards for 5 mana, because I most of the time will control my commander as a land. So again, a great card, a big creature with card draw tacked on. Then we have Simic Sky Swallower, so the only flying Leviathan I think I have in this deck, and it's a green-blue and 5, so 6/6 Flying Trample Shroud. So again, just an absolute menace to deal with. Flying Trample Shroud, 6/6, fantastic card, big beefy creature. Then we have the infamous Pearl Lake Ancient. This is a 7-drop Leviathan creature, mythic rare from Khans of Tarkir. 6/7 Flash, so you can come out at instant speed. He can't be countered, he has prowess, so whenever you play a non-creature spell, he gets +1/+1. And then you can return 3 lands you control to the owner's hand and return them to your hand. So he has built-in protection as well, which is fantastic. And if you look at the top corner, one of the corners up here, Pearl Lake Ancient was the only reason I was sticking around during the game. So have a look at that video. Pearl Lake Ancient featured a hell of a lot in that video. One of my favourite cards in the deck again is Trench Gorger. This is fantastic. Throw all your chips in and see what happens type of card. So it's an 8-drop, 6/6 trample. But then when he enters the battlefield, you may search your library for any number of lands, exile them, then shuffle your library. If you do, Trench Gorger's power and toughness each becomes equal to the number of lands you exile this way. So most of the time, when Trench Gorger comes out, I'm exiling 20+ lands from my library to make him become a 20/20+ trample card. It's absolutely outrageous. One of the biggest cards in blue, creature-wise. If you exile all your lands, in Commander, you're going to have access to so many lands that you can just ditch, and then the rest of your deck becomes gas later on. And that's why I love Trench Gorger, because most of the time I would have ramped out by the time this is able to get played, and I don't really need that many lands in the deck because I've got so much ramp. And this just fishes out all those lands late game, and he becomes absolutely massive. So I can't really go on any more about him. He is fantastic. Trench Gorger. Took me a while to actually get my hands on one because they're quite hard to find, but a fantastic card nonetheless. Then we have Spearbreaker Behemoth. Fantastic card. Costs 7 to bring out. 5/5 Beast, which is indestructible, and then you can pay 1 mana. Target creature with power 5 or greater is indestructible this turn. So basically all my creatures can get indestructible if I pay the mana to do so. So a fantastic card for protecting my creatures. Could be in the protection package, but he's in the creature package because he's a huge beast. Fantastic card. Then we have Kraken of the Straits. So this is a 7-drop 6/6 Kraken, which can't be blocked with creatures power less than the number of islands I control. So again, a lot of islands in this deck, so most of the time creatures are not going to be able to block this guy. Again, I just love it because he's a big Kraken and the artwork is awesome. Then we have Inkwell Leviathan, a massive card that has 9 mana cost, and 7/11 Trample Island Walk Shroud. So again, a huge threat for opponents' board states because it's a 7/11 Trample Island Walk and it has Shroud, so it's difficult to deal with. So again, it's a big, beefy creature that's hard to deal with. And then we have Breaching Leviathan. This is a 9-drop Leviathan, 9/9. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, tap all non-blue creatures, and those creatures do not untap during their controller's next untap step. So again, a great way of icing some creatures and just making them static for the next round of the table, which is always good when I've got big creatures myself that are going to be swinging in for huge damage. And the last big creature of the deck is Deep Sea Kraken. It costs 10 to play as a normal creature from your hand. He's a 6/6 unblockable creature, so he can't be blocked, but he also has Suspend. So you can suspend him on turn 3 with 9 counters. And then whenever an opponent plays a spell, you can remove a time counter from it. So again, it's a good 3-drop because it will just sit there and people are going to be playing spells around the table. So normally it will come out on the second rotation of the table, and he's a 6/6 unblockable with haste as soon as he becomes unsuspended. So again, it's a fantastic card and an imminent looming threat in the suspension. So again, an awesome card, Deep Sea Kraken. So that is the big creatures of the deck. And now we're just going to go into some big spells that we have as well. So we have 4 big spells, which are all green as well, so you can use the infinite mana for these. First of all, we have Genesis Wave. So this is a green, green, green and X. Reveal the top X cards of your library. You may put any number of permanent cards of converted mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield, then put all cards revealed this way that weren't put onto the battlefield into your graveyard. So with an infinite mana combo, you can pull out every single permanent from your deck and put it onto the battlefield with this card. Everything that doesn't go onto the battlefield is then in the grave, so you're going to lose next turn because you're going to have no cards to draw. But a fantastic card and a very, very good win con and game ender in Genesis Wave. Then we have Overwhelming Stampede. Fantastic card. Instead of turn, creatures you control gain trample and X, plus X, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control, which is normally 12. Because Arixmethes is going to be a creature when I play this, so all my other creatures will get plus 12, and trample instead of turn. Again, Overwhelming Stampede is basically a win con in green. Then we have a big spell in Zendikar Resurgent. So again, a massive spell enchantment. Whenever you tap a land for mana, add 1 mana to your 2 mana pool of any type that land produced. So again, it gives you double mana, and whenever you cast a creature spell, you draw a card. So again, just a fantastic way of getting double mana, huge mana, and drawing cards as well late game, and potentially early game. Turn 5, turn 4, I've seen this come out before, Zendikar Resurgent. So that was actually in the other game as well, which I linked up in the description in the box up above my head somewhere. Go and check that out. Zendikar Resurgent was also played in that as well. And finally, we have Finale of Devastation. So green, green, and X. Search your library and or graveyard for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less and put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. If X is 10 or more, then creatures you control get plus X and gain haste instead of turn, which is absolutely outrageous. So again, another game-winning card and a huge, big X spell which can be combined with that infinite mana. So now we're going on to the land base of the deck. So first of all, the basics. I've got 15 islands. Let me just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 15 islands and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 forests. So 15 islands and 7 forests. That's 22 basic lands. And then we have the non-basics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 36 lands in total. So we'll go for the non-basics. You've got a Terramorphic Expanse, which allows you to sacrifice it, search library for a basic land, put it onto battlefield tapped, and shuffle your library. So good for mana fixing, and also we have Evolving Wilds. It does exactly the same thing. Then we have the discount Simic lands. So let me just grab those. So we have the discount Simic lands in Thornwood Falls. Enters battlefield tapped, you gain 1 life, but it also taps for green and blue. Then we have a Woodland Stream, enters battlefield tapped for green and blue. Simic Guildgate, enters battlefield tapped for green and blue. And Simic Growth Chamber, enters battlefield tapped. When it enters battlefield, return a land you control to your hand. Then it also taps for green, blue, so it's 2 lands. So that's the discount Simic lands. Then we have Halimar Depths, so it enters battlefield tapped. When it enters battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of your library and put them back in any order, which is great. So it allows you to do a little bit of insight into your deck as well, which is fantastic. Then we have Rogue's Passage, adds 1 to your mana pool, and it can make target creature unblockable to end of turn. So it's great with Arixmethes because he's a 12/12 commander creature, which can kill someone in 2 hits. Then we have Alchemist Refuge, adds 1 to your mana pool, or you can tap green and blue and tap it. You may cast non-land cards as turns that it had flash, which is absolutely outrageous. Then we have Yavimaya Coast, taps to add 1 to your mana pool, or you can tap it for green and blue, or green or blue, should I say, and it deals 1 damage to you. So nice little land there. Then we have Hinterland Harbour. So So it enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a forest or an island, but it taps to add green or blue. Then we have Command Tower. Adds 1 mana of any colour in your commander's colour identity, so it adds green or blue to a mana pool. Then we have Desert of the Mindful. It enters the battlefield tapped, adds 1 blue to your mana pool, or you can cycle it to draw a card later on. And then we have Yavimaya Hollow, which adds 1 colourless mana to your mana pool, or you can pay 1 green and tap it to regenerate target creature. So that's the lands in the deck. So I thought now would be a nice little time to go through the Arixmethes deck, because as us Commander players know, Ikoria Layer of the Behemoths is coming out next year, and that is our first Commander product as well. So I envision Ikoria to be big, massive Leviathans, Krakens, big beastie creatures that are gonna fit into this deck so well. And I just thought I'd revisit this this deck tech, because it's probably going to get changed in a few months' time when Ikoria comes out. So I just thought I'd get this deck tech out here now, just to tell you and share with you what my big creature deck looks like at the moment. But it's probably going to go through a lot of changes when Ikoria comes out, and I imagine there's going to be more Kiora Planeswalkers as well. There's a lot of speculation as to what is going to happen on Ikoria and how we're going to get there from Theros. But there's a lot of connections between Theros and Kiora according to the lore. I'm not a lore expert, but I watched some lore videos by Commander Void, I think. If I find the video, I'll link it up in the description below, description top on the video, but you can go and check it out. But I'm very much looking forward to Ikoria, and I just thought I'd revisit this deck, because it's probably going to change very imminently with Ikoria, so just thought I'd get it out there now. This is what I'm playing with at the moment a lot of the time. I love Arixmethes, I love big creatures, so when Ikoria comes out, you're definitely going to see me down at a local game store for a pre-release. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you today. Please make sure you like and subscribe. If you're looking to buy any geeky products, by all means, go on to magicmadhouse.co.uk if you're a UK resident and use that affiliate link. It really helps support us directly. And thank you very much if you've tuned in right to the very